I am doing something totally different with squash. Unlike most of us think of pumpkin pie, right? That's just the thing. Or sometimes we stuff a meal inside a pumpkin. Well, I'm going to do something totally different tonight. You're going to see balsamic glazed pumpkin. Actually, it's not pumpkin. I'll explain that. With toasted walnuts. All right, so I'm going to get you started first by let's heating up a little bit of oil. And it's working great. So we'll let that heat up in the pan. And then after this gets a little hot, we're going to put in some whole cumin seed. Have you ever cooked with cumin seed? Does anybody? No. Oh, man. You know, this was my first experience with whole cumin seed, and it is good stuff. Now, this dish is a little on the spicy side. Does this tell you that maybe we're heading down the spicy road? You put a whole red chili pepper in there. You let it start darkening and turning another color, but I don't necessarily wait that long because I'm a little impatient. So we go ahead and just let that start getting the flavors. Then, after the cumin seed has started to sizzle a little, what we're going to add next is the sliced up squash. Now, I looked all over, well, I won't, that's maybe a lie. I went to 2 different stores in Pocatello to try to find pie pumpkin. That's what you would want to use if you were cooking this dish. It's sweeter. It has a better texture for cooking with. Have any of you worked with pie pumpkin before? Compared to a jack-o'-lantern. All right, the pie pumpkin is what you'd want. Well, I couldn't find it. So I substituted the next logical thing, which is butternut squash. It has the same type of nutrient profile. It cooks up the same. What we're doing at this stage is we're just starting to saute it, letting it get a little bit brown. And in the interest of time, I pre-cooked this a little bit before we started this evening because this does take a good 15, 20 minutes before it's all the way done. So I wanted to kind of speed that process up a little for you. Now, you want to add a little bit of salt. Pardon?
Did you microwave it?
No. Oh no, I sauteed it.
Okay.
I sauteed it. Yep. So this part can have a little more oil than the other one that I made ahead, but not a whole lot. Now I added, here we have a little camera. Oh, that didn't help matters, did it? A little bit of salt. And this is one of those ones you add. The recipe calls to taste. You can do whatever you want. When it comes to salt, maybe less is best with some of our blood pressure, that type of thing. So being a little careful. Now while this is cooking up a little bit, I want to ask you a quick question. Take a guess without looking at your handouts, because that would be totally cheating. How many pounds of pumpkin do we grow in America for processing? Guess high. Okay, somebody throw a pound. What?
5 million.
5 million? That's a good. Is that my mother that said that? Thank you, Mom. No, actually, you're wrong. We grow over 1 billion pounds of pumpkin to process. I can't even fathom that volume. That's just huge. Most of the pumpkin that is grown in this country for processing is grown in Illinois. So the stuff that I got in your handouts, I got off of an Illinois extension site, and that's all it's devoted to is pumpkins. And once I figured out of like 90% of the processing pumpkin coming from their state, I can see why they took that so seriously, like we do in our potatoes. All right, now after this has sauteed up nice, and can you see how, well, I don't know if you can as well, but the parts of it are starting to get nice and brown, like that little guy there, he's getting a little bit browner. Okay, you kind of want to look for that. Then we're going to make this just a wee bit more spicy. We're adding red pepper flakes. Now, I decided only half that amount. The recipe calls for a teaspoon, but to 3 cups of squash, that's a lot of spice. And when we tried this in the office, we about needed a fire extinguisher for our food. So I said, we'll do a half a teaspoon. It's still going to be spicy. That is completely up to your family's discretion. All right, these are some walnuts. I'm sorry if we have any nut allergies. Do not touch this dish, okay? And then the best part of all, the balsamic vinegar. Now we'll add that, and this thing flares, and then it makes me sneeze a little because of the vinegar part of it. Oh, listen to that saute. Woo! Can you smell it? All right. Now because this is a less expensive version of balsamic vinegar, it's really not the true thing. I really don't think we could afford to purchase the actual true balsamic. That's the stuff that the minimum aging time is 12 years. And then they have a batch that'll age for 18, and then there's some that they'll age for 25 years. So can you imagine how much money something like this would run? Well over $100 for a bottle like that. So what we purchased is just some regular stuff you can get at the store. It works fine, but it does start with a red wine vinegar base. So it's not the true balsamic. Now after a few minutes of sauteing this, what happens is it just glazes up and it just gets really pretty. Nice and pretty. And then I like nuts. And so it tastes so good with the nuts and the balsamic vinegar. So when you're done serving it or preparing it, you're going to want to serve it with some kind of pretty garnish on a plate or however you want to serve it for your family. So that is what we have for our balsamic glazed butternut. Now, are there any questions for me?
Could you use a sweet meat squash as opposed
To the sweet,
Yeah.
I mean like
that purple one back there, bluish purple, the sweet meat?
I think if it was a firm enough squash, you'd be fine.
It's an axe to break into them.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to use something too soft with this because it's going to like dissolve. But it does work really well with a hard winter type of squash. And then you get your beta carotene, because that's what this particular vegetable is known for having, is lots of beta carotene. All right. Any other questions? Thank you.